The next speaker is Osato Evbwuoman. She is a dynamic marketing leader with over 15 years of experience shaping some of Africa's biggest brands. She has built a strong reputation for driving profitable growth across FMCG and alcoholic beverage sector. Her expertise spans consumer behavior, competitive strategy, and strategic brand execution. Osato has led marketing campaigns for world-class brands in personal care, home care, and luxury beverages. She has worked across key African markets, including Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, and Cote d'Ivoire. Her career reflects a deep understanding of Africa's diverse consumer landscape. Currently, she serves as marketing director at Moet Hennessy, Nigeria. And she previously held leadership roles at global giants Unilever and Diageo. Wow. Passionate about mentorship, she is committed to nurturing young professionals. Today, Osato will be joining us in discussing leveraging AI at the Marketing Edge National Marketing Summit 2025. So please, let's make welcome Osato.
Thank you so much, Ozone, or Ozone, or Ozone, if I stick to the nickname.
Ozone is fine, ma.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for the really warm welcome. And thank you to Marketing Edge for giving us the platform. I have to re-echo what Baba Okwetu said. It's always nice to be able to connect with the industry and connect with people who are driving the industry forward. I'm also excited to be speaking on the platform today. And I think Baba has set the context really well and created or provided a really strong foundation for us to continue the conversations that we're having today. I'm just gonna, if you give me a moment to share my screen so that I can put up my slides. And then let me know once they are visible.
Yes, we can see your slide now. Please write on.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Good morning again, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be on this platform today, speaking about a topic that actually sparks my curiosity and my sense of wonder. I would love, again, to thank the previous speaker for the valuable insights he shared. And like I said earlier, it's the perfect foundation for the conversations that we will be having. I think that what I'm going to do today, my hope, is to use existing everyday examples to add to the body of knowledge that Baba has shared in a way that gets you inspired and leaves you with new perspectives and practical takeaways. So let me start by asking you to think of the last ad that caught your attention. The chances are that it felt personalized, relevant, and maybe even timely, as if someone was eavesdropping on your conversations or reading your mind. And that is AI at work. It's not coincidence. AI is no longer a futuristic concept. It is in our everyday, it's powering process, it's driving businesses, and it's shaping our experiences in ways that we never expected that it would. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It will only get more advanced, and it will be used for many more things than it is used for today. And for marketers, the real challenge, and that's what I want to be able to share today, the real challenge is not about not using AI. It would be about how to use AI for results without losing the human touch. Our consumers today expect speed, they expect relevance, they expect personalization. In fact, 80% of consumers are more likely to buy from brands that offer personalized experiences. But the traditional marketing tools that we have today just cannot keep up with the volume of data available. They also can't keep up with the complexity that is required to harness all of this data into actionable insights. And that's where AI comes in. AI bridges that gap between data abundance and actionable insights, and it helps us get better marketing results faster. AI is already driving a lot of marketing results today in many ways. The previous speaker alluded to some of them, and I'm going to dive a little deeper into a few of them that I think are very relevant to what we're doing today as marketers. At the top of this list is personalization at scale. And I'm going to use examples. Let's take Netflix and Spotify as examples. I'm sure a lot of people have Netflix accounts, at least in this room. Netflix uses machine learning algorithms to analyze viewing behavior. So they analyze the time of day you're watching, analyze the devices that you're watching from, your completion rates, how often you pause the show, how often you rewatch shows. And this algorithm tailors recommendations. It tailors the thumbnails that show up on screen. And even the promotional trailers that you get, tailors them uniquely for each user. Over 80% of the shows watched on Netflix are driven by recommendations. I can't remember the last time I went on Netflix and tried to search for something to watch. It just would show me, because you watch XYZ, try this. And a lot of the things that I've watched in my spare time are based on the recommendations. So AI is technically keeping us hooked and directly tying into the business objective of retention and lifetime value. Spotify's Discover Weekly is another example. It's powered by AI that analyzes listening habits, audio patterns, and similar users' behaviors. The AI curates playlists that feel like they're handpicked for each listener. And I think when I think about listening to music on Apple Music or on Spotify, sometimes the stress of having to pick the songs that I want to listen to can be difficult. But it's amazing that AI can curate a playlist that has just the right kind of music that I want. This way, it increases daily active use and increases brand stickiness through music personalization. Spotify reported that Discover Weekly drove 40% increase in engagement when it launched. And the impact for these two brands is that both brands are driving loyalty, they're improving their consumer engagement, and they're reducing churn in a subscription-driven business. Next is innovation and demand generation. I think Baba mentioned an example with Coca-Cola in his presentation, and I think Coca-Cola is an amazing organization that does really great stuff where marketing is concerned. In this example, Coca-Cola uses AI to track social listening, consumer feedback, and trend spotting to inform product innovation. They've also used AI in creative development, like this example, the Coca-Cola Y3000 limited edition flavor. It was actually co-created with AI to imagine the flavor of the future. I mean, you'd almost think that's unrealistic, but it was a way to engage with consumers. It allowed the brands to stay culturally relevant and to appeal to younger, tech-savvy consumers. Of course, the campaign also generated strong buzz on social platforms for innovation. But similarly, let's look at Starbucks. Starbucks uses an AI platform called Deep Brew that integrates customers' preferences, store-level data, and even contextual insights, which helps them personalize their app offers. There's so many positive rave reviews of the Starbucks app because apparently it recommends beverage options, and it can recommend beverage options based on the time of year. So in the winter, it can recommend a beverage that is tied or relevant to winter and recommend something that's tied or relevant to summer. It can also suggest food pairings, and this drives frequency of purchase and enhances the consumer's overall experience. But what's interesting for Starbucks is it doesn't end there. With the data and insights that they get from user habits, they can also optimize their inventory and staffing and improve overall operational efficiency. So it's going beyond retaining the consumer to driving business efficiency. Third, and more widely known, AI is also being used to optimize creative campaign development. We talk a lot about content generation, ChatGPT helping with copy, Gemini helping with campaign development. And that is what we are most familiar with at this point. And it's a fantastic addition to the suite of tools that we use as marketing professionals. A good example is Heinz, who ran a playful experiment asking AI tools to draw ketchup. Across the iterations that came back, the AI almost always generated a bottle that looked like Heinz. Talk about truly owning a category. But what's interesting about this campaign is that it turned AI into a proof point for brand distinctiveness and consumer associations. It also reinforced Heinz's category leadership and their brand iconography, sparking a lot of conversation and boosting brand affinity. Nestle is another example of a company that uses AI to generate, adapt, and localize creative assets across more than 200 markets. AI facilitates the automation of content creation, which enables their brands achieve consistency and efficiency in global campaigns, which is one of the big pain points of giant multinationals who want to ensure that their brands are represented the same way across different nationalities and markets. But what this AI does for Nestle, while it helps them achieve this consistency, it also maintains local resonance. So it's not about taking the generic copy and just rolling it out everywhere. It is about taking local nuances and building into those assets. The impact on the business is a significant reduction in production timelines and costs, and it enables faster go-to-market campaigns at reduced rates. In a world where speed is currency, this, I think, is probably one of the strongest business cases for AI. Another way AI is transforming marketing is in the area of brand engagement and experience. Sephora's virtual artist is a really good example of how AI is combined with augmented reality, and their virtual artist allows customers try on products virtually. Imagine trying on lipstick before you buy. This really enhances the digital shopping experience and reduces friction in trial and purchase. Of course, the result is increased conversion rates online and definitely strengthens consumer engagement, because as a consumer, what is better than getting confidence in what you're buying before purchase? But I'll talk about a personal favorite of mine, which is the Nike Fit app. The Nike Fit app uses AI and computer vision to scan a customer's feet using their smartphone camera. And with this data, the app provides personalized size recommendations for every Nike shoe model. If you're like some people who really struggle to find their shoe sizes and who don't want to go through the trouble of trying shoes all the time in the store, this would be a fantastic solution. But beyond just providing those personalized recommendations, it reduces the rate of return and improves customer satisfaction with their purchase. This is an example of AI solving a real consumer pain point. And if I go back to what Baba had said earlier, at the end of the day, what we really need to be focusing is on how to answer the questions that are being asked by our consumer, how to solve those needs, how to give them what they're looking for with the help of the technologies that we have available. They're amazing, they're fantastic, they can do really great things, but they're not as useful if we're not using them to answer the real questions that we have as marketers. And then now I'll talk about, something that is a little more abstract, but equally as important. And this is on media optimization. AI can also optimize media for reach and for efficiency. Unilever does this very well, applying AI to analyze media buying performance across platforms, optimizing advertising spend in real time, and ensuring that their brand messaging reaches the right audience segment. So instead of blasting out communication to all and sundry, with this technology, they're able to pinpoint the actual cohorts that they want to communicate specific products to and target their communication to those consumers. This drives efficiency in global media spend and improves the return on investment, because you're more likely to reach the person that you're talking to for whom your product is most relevant. Now, while AI is a fantastic resource, brings fantastic results and is a fantastic resource, it is not without its challenges. For example, there are ethical concerns to consider. So Data privacy and trust is a big one. Consumers are increasingly concerned about how their data is collected, stored, and used. Even I, as a person, I'm very hesitant to provide my data on a lot of these sites, or even to people when they ask, because there's no surety of what it's going to be used for or whether it's going to be mismanaged. There's also questions around data bias and fairness. The reality is that AI models are trained on data. And if the data is skewed to certain consumer groups, then the recommendations and output may be questionable or even discriminatory. There are also questions around over-personalization. At what point does personalization move from interesting to creepy? While personalization can be really powerful, when it feels too invasive, it may backfire. Suddenly you get consumers asking, how do they know that about me? Can I trust them? And so those are questions that we need to ask, especially as we think about further integrating AI into the work that we do. There's also the problem of losing brand authenticity and cultural nuance. If we depend solely on AI to drive creativity, we may end up with very generic content that lack originality and are potentially even detached from the brand voice. AI needs to be positioned as a co-creator, not a replacement. And brands have to be transparent and ethical with the data, or they risk losing consumer trust. So now that we've spoken about what AI is doing and some of the challenges that AI can potentially raise, I wanted to look a bit about what could come. And I think Mr. Okpeto also spoke about some of those potential changes that we see coming. Like him, I think that we're also at the beginning. With all the amazing things that AI is facilitating, I think that the fun is just starting. I think that AI will increasingly become an invisible enabler of consumer experiences, and not just any kinds of experiences. It'll be experiences that are seamless, contextual, and always on. We think we were doing always on communication through digital. Just imagine what we can do with AI. Brands will move from fixed one-off campaigns towards always on adaptive relationships with consumers, all powered by AI. Think, for example, hyper-personalized real-time experiences with AI analyzing live behavior to serve content, to serve offers, and product recommendations that change intuitively. I'm imagining a skincare brand app that adjusts product recommendations in real time based on the weather. For example, suggesting a hydrating serum on dry days and an SPF product on sunny ones, and linking this instantly to purchase. That just removes all the friction from awareness to conversion. We could also get voice and conversational commerce. And I think that was an example that Mr. Okpeto shared in the video, where shopping and brand interaction will take place via the consumer's natural language, not clicks and taps. Add to cart will suddenly become spoken word. And you could ask, say, Alexa to recommend a cocktail for date night. And AI would suggest a recipe featuring a specific tequila brand, followed by a one-click order to the nearest delivery partner. That's one way that our brands and us as marketing can really drive results in the work that we do, leveraging AI. We could also see a move towards emotion-based AI systems. This one, is a bit concerning to me, because then it would really show that AI is so sophisticated. But we could move to emotion-based AI systems that detect and respond to consumer sentiment through facial expression, tone of voice, or text sentiment. Imagine a brand live streaming a product drop, being able to track consumer excitement through chats and emojis, noting which product generate the most love and the most excitement, highlighting limited stock for popular products, or even switching the live stream presenter if attention drops. Imagine that we had that functionality in Zoom now, and Marketing Edge decides that, this presentation is not so exciting, we need to switch to someone else. That could become possible. We will also see even more immersive environments powered by AI and augmented or virtual reality that let consumers experience products or brand worlds virtually before buying. Imagine walking into a premium car shop, and the car brand can give customers a chance to test drive a car or customize it in a hyper-personalized virtual showroom where every detail adapts to their preferences. I mean, they don't have to take the risk of you potentially ruining the car in an accident. And you also get a really good feel for the handling and the power and just the aesthetics of the car. The possibilities are endless. And I could go on and on, but my challenge to marketeers and like myself and teams is this: we must build AI literacy to stay relevant. Many of us lack AI fluency, and it's not through any fault of ours. We're still, trying to understand what it can do. A lot of organizations in this part of the world have not fully adopted the use of the tools that are available. But we do need to invest in upskilling marketeers in AI. Because right now, we are either underusing or misapplying the tools. And upskilling marketers to become AI literate is just as important as adopting the tools. There are many business benefits to gain by adopting AI, not as a replacement, but as a co-pilot. The future is human plus AI. And it's interesting that Mr. Okweto also mentioned this, but this really is the case. The next campaign will build itself in hours, not weeks. And the question is no longer whether you will integrate AI, but how fast and how well you do it. And I would like to re-echo what Mr. Okweto said earlier. AI is not about replacing marketers. It's about freeing us to do what humans do best: storytelling, strategy, and creativity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Osato. Great insights. In fact, at some point I was actually getting scared a little bit. Especially your last quote that talks about the fact that the next campaign will not be filmed or shot or produced in weeks, it's in hours. And to be honest with you, so true. So true.
Yeah, but there's nothing to be scared of, Ozone. I think we need to fully embrace it and get ahead of it so that we can harness it in a way that, we get the benefits to come through.
That's it. And that takes me to the first question. Is AI undermining agencies' client relationships or reinforcing agencies' roles?
My opinion, I don't think that it's undermining the relationships between agencies and clients. I think that agencies need to be able to adopt AI at the speed at which their clients are adopting AI. Otherwise, they risk falling behind. And their clients will be looking for agencies that are forward-thinking, that are, being innovative, that are moving with the times. The truth is, organizations are never going to employ the number of people that agencies have. It's not going to happen. They will have their marketing teams, but they will always need service providers to manage some of the things that agencies are managing now. It is now left to the agencies to upskill themselves and find ways to provide value that does not create opportunities for clients to think, okay, perhaps we don't need these guys anymore.
Excellent. I agree with you. And here comes our last question, because else, we're going to send the rest of the questions to you because of time. So customers are constantly discovering products. What does that mean for brands in the integration of AI?
So they are constantly discovering products through different ways. I mean, I just scrolling on my phone based on some of the things I've said, because yes, the phones do listen to us. And based on some of the things that I've searched, new products come up. If we want to make sure that our products are in discovery, we need to be able to understand the AI tools that we can use to ensure that we're present in the tools like SEO. We're present in the areas where they shop. We're present on the websites where they are, but also in a way that we are leveraging the things that they've done, the behaviors and the habits. Because sometimes it may not be about the obvious choice. I may be looking at an adjacent category. I may be looking at something that's completely different and complementary, but it's still an opportunity for a brand that is not necessarily in that category to create presence. We need to be able to anticipate some of these coexistences, some of these synergies, and be proactive in ensuring that our brands are present in those spaces where sometimes the consumer is not necessarily looking, but will be happy to find us.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Osato. We're going to forward the rest of the questions to you. And I want to say thank you on behalf of Marketing Edge and the entire participants of this session.
Thank you so much, Ozo, and thank you to the Marketing Edge team for the opportunity. I think I will be looking forward to what the rest of the speakers have to say. I certainly hope that I have served to inspire and not scare people, because I think sometimes we misunderstand the value of what AI and the technology can do. But thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the sessions.
I need to. Take care. Have a nice day.